I would say that it's pretty different. It was a big culture shock for me when I came here
So
because
different. I had a very big culture shock when I first came here, but now I'm so used to the American life, but it's so different from Europe. I'm used to the city life.
13 people, 10 months. One unforgettable cultural experience. Can you imagine spending 10 months away from your family, your friends, and everything that is familiar to you? You have to adjust to a new family who you haven't met before, deal with a new school and a different culture. 13 students at Penn just did that. They came from countries like Sweden, Italy, Spain, Thailand, Germany, and the Philippines to spend an exchange year here in the US at Penn High School. We asked them what some of their favorite experiences were.
I think it was playing on the football team, being in the weights class, just hanging out.
It's gotta be playing for the Penn soccer team and going to semi-state with them.
My favorite American experience is probably to travel, and I've been to Florida and Las Vegas and Chicago this year, so that's probably the best.
My favorite experience was all the sport with the school, like for example like the basketball games with the palms, the cheerleader. I really loved that.
Actually, it was this weekend, the night of prom. It was so much fun. I met a lot of new people, and it was just such good vibes. So I loved it.
As an exchange student, you encounter a lot of cultural differences. Not only is the food different or the clothes that people wear to school, but a lot of other things too. As pointed out in a lot of interviews, a funny thing Americans do is, for example, to wear pajamas to school. Cultural differences can be very useful to broaden one's horizon. Here are some things about American schools that stuck out.
I think they're so different from Europe, but they're so much fun. Like, you actually have a lot of fun here. Like, I don't know, it's more like, and the sports too, because you can do like sports here, and I think it's very cool.
I like the American school with all the school spirit, but I have to say I like the Swedish schools because we can walk outside and leave the school and then come back. So that's a big difference.
Yeah. Well, they're bigger than the ones that we have in Europe, for sure. Like my school, it's really old, but this is a lot bigger. Yeah.
So first of all, they have school teams here in America, and we have club teams in Sweden. So instead of like practicing on school ground, I go to my club sport to play my sports. That's like one thing, and then also the school days here are longer, so I don't have as much free time.
I love the fact that you can choose which class, the classes you take, because that way you can just see what you're interested in before you go to college or make your decisions for the future. Because in Spain we just have the classes already done the way. So I love that here that you get to choose that.
I think they're a lot more cooler than in France, and a lot easier. I mean, there's just 4 classes in a day, and sometimes it's just some ceramics or classes like this, so it's a lot more funnier and cooler, I think, yeah.
School is very different in the US in comparison to schools in other countries, as we just heard. But there are other things besides the American school that are received not only differently, but also very positively.
I would say technology, because back home at school especially, we don't really use Chromebooks, and then we don't have a great internet connection. And here, that pretty much everything is technology here everywhere. And then there's Wi-Fi, which makes education really easy.
How people here are so nice. They come to you and they speak to you first. They're so sociable.
Everything is just way much bigger, bigger houses, bigger cars, bigger streets.
If you mean Penn, I think it's safe. It's pretty safe, much more safe. Safer than my school in Thailand. And yeah, you have security everywhere.
All in all, doing an exchange year is an awesome experience. It might not be easy all the time, and there are certainly things you have to get used to. Marina can give us an example for
Like,
that.
especially for me, I feel like the most like weird thing was like the times for lunch, breakfast, and well, not breakfast, but like lunch and dinner. Because like I'm used to having like all of that like really, really late, and here they're like really early. So at first I was like really shocking.
But despite having a hard time and a culture shock at the beginning, you learn and grow a lot from the experience. It is a brave act to step and live in a new world all on your own, but it is an act which is worth it. A big thanks to all the exchange students. Here are some more point of views of the exchange students on their exchange year.
I think it's funny that they drive everywhere. In Sweden we use our bikes and walk around a lot, so that's very different.
Il cibo è meglio in Italia di sicuro, ma dell'America mi piace la scuola.
Så en sak som är bättre här är att man kan åka norrut, man kan åka söderut, man kan åka skidor. Alltså det är bad, solbad, det är skidor. Man kan göra lite allt möjligt här borta, medan i Sverige så har vi mer bara... Så en grej som, det är mycket som är bättre i Sverige, men en grej är att vi har bättre infrastruktur. Vi har ett bättre samhälle, men jag skulle säga att man lever bättre för vi har gratis sjukvård, gratis skola.
It's different because like there's a lot of more people here and they speak another language and it's difficult at the beginning, but then it gets better.